So I made a video yesterday going over my thoughts. Most played out, but let's start from scratch here. So the reasoning I had two longs for Bitcoin, right? The reason why I canceled the original one, and thank God I did, was because we were around like here when I canceled it, and I didn't like the fact that we rejected right from the supply zone and had just one green candle of consolidation. I was expecting maybe another push up before rejection, then I would have taken the long, but I didn't like how we just straight dumped. Um, so I went ahead and canceled that, but the long that I took was based off fibs from the swing low to the swing high. Entry was a little bit pushed higher than I wanted to, but I was trying to front run like the golden pocket because I didn't think we were actually going to go down to the 786 fib to get the DCA, but we did, put us in a good position, and from entry, we bounced 7%. Now, let me get a clean chart going after I discuss this. The reasoning for my short was, so it was a 30-minute time frame, a 30-minute supply zone here. We had this initial dump, right? This is the dump that I was talking about that I didn't like. And we had some consolidation, and there's an order block here, but I'm looking to short there, which would also be confluence with a bearish retest, about a bearish retest here. I was actually hoping that, once we bounce from that 84K, we actually go and touch it much higher earlier. But currently on Bitcoin, we just put in, a higher low on a lower time frame. Sorry, one sec. So we put in a lower time frame, higher low there, right? And although, like there was this here, okay, we broke structure as soon as we closed there. We actually went up and rejected from that previous higher low, made a lower high. That was a short trigger as well. If you guys, are understanding market structure, that once we put in and rejected from that previous SR point, this would have been your play. All right, but too late, we can't go there. That's one impulse, but even if you're seeing this as another impulse where you're talking about, let me get rid of these squigglies. If this is your right lower low, here is your first like higher high, here's another higher low. So you could see this as multiple impulses, but I'm looking to short here, and hopefully it's another rejection and we go in. Maybe, I don't know if we go back down to this level, but something like this, TP1, maybe come back down, put a double bottom, and maybe at that point I'll go ahead and re-long, but that's what I'm looking for on a short term for Bitcoin. But I'm only risking a very small percentage here. The long should pay for this, even net profit, even if we get stopped out. So I'm looking for that short, but in all honesty, and let me go to a clean chart. Okay. So daily market structure broke once we closed below this 92.5K level. All right. If you're taking a look at, now this is daily structure. I'm not talking about long-term structure because long-term structure is still intact. If we're talking about, you know, um, once we broke out of here, right, this is your long-term structure. And yes, you have in between bearish structure, but even if we come back down to this like 74K level, we can still put in a higher low there. So high time frame structure is still intact. But on the daily, we broke market structure once we closed below this 92.5K level, which was your range low level, because if you're taking a look at it from this perspective, right, there's your higher high, here's your higher low, here is your higher high, and once we close below here, you actually put in its first lower low. So, well, also another lower low here, but this was your short trigger. So once you lost market structure, this would have been one short trigger, but also the other short trigger would have been a bearish retest of this here. So once we lost that, we turn into resistance, and this Trump news just gave the boost for us to possibly short there, and it was a perfect short opportunity. Now, for us to be bullish, let me draw this range low level again. We need to reclaim this here. Now, a reclaim and flip. So we have to close above here and flip it to support to continue to go higher. Now you can draw some trend lines. All right. So if we're talking about structure here, right? Okay, here's another lower high that we just made. We have to break above this, make a higher high, and hold this level. Even if we come back down to retest it, that's totally fine, but we need to stay above this 93K level before we start talking about higher. Okay, like we can't just start talking about 100K from down here until levels are reclaimed. So for me, the strong level that we need to get above before we start talking about all-time highs is this 99.4 to 100K level. We've rejected multiple times, and then we flipped it, went higher, right? Again, rejected, deviation, went up, flipped it, went higher. We need to get above this level to continue the grind and talk about all-time highs, right? But our first main level, our first main objective is going to be this 93K level that we need to reclaim and flip to support. And then we start talking in between these two levels. And then above this red level, we can start talking about all-time highs and higher. All right. So for now, we have to see how we reject, but that short on a lower time frame is I'm going to take it. Hopefully that is going to be another lower high, and we can go back down to put in a lower bottom. Now that's given in my channel, but I'll go ahead and post it here as well. So I'm looking for something like this. Okay. Now we're in the long. I'm not looking to add to my longs unless the trigger gives, and that trigger will be a double bottom here, or I'm not looking to long unless we're above 93K. So that's it for Bitcoin. Now for ETH. Okay. So ETH, if you guys were able to catch the SFP short, we took the lows yesterday with that wick. Now, even if you saw on the daily, okay, we took the wick, continued grind higher, but even that, okay, we actually SFP'd yesterday as well, or on this 4-hour. We took the lows that took out these lows, and this was your short or your long trigger. Once those lows were taken, stop loss below the wick. These are the conditional trades that I was talking about, and this gave you a nice, I think 4% pump. Yeah, 4% pump before we had whatever the frick this was. I was asleep for it, but whatever that was, and then even this took out these lows, closed above, and you could have taken this long, right? So SFPs, like I mentioned before, swing failure patterns, are the best R&R trade you're going to get, all right? So multiple lows were swept on different time frames, and you could have scalped one while swing trade the other, and it's working. Now for ETH, This is a cursed asset. I traded, I sold my short-term position for a loss. I'm not looking back. It doesn't matter to me. But for us to be bullish on a lower time frame, we need to get above this $2,500 level. It was previously support, and it was a previous range, right, before all the Trump shenanigan. It was a previous range that we were hoping to break out because we touched the range highs so many times, but now that's resistance. This is resistance. Maybe a double bottom or a triple bottom, depending if you're counting this wick, is put in, and we go higher from here. In between this and this, we do have, hurdles that we do have to cross. All right, so, like if this is going to be bullish, and by the way, that 4-hour candle is extremely bullish. If Bitcoin continues to grind higher, then our first area of rejection is going to be this mid-range of these two levels. Okay, but as you can see, the mid-range doesn't really offer a strong area to short. Okay, maybe like here is the bearish retest point. All right, so if you are possibly looking for shorts, confluence of the golden pocket, you have a small supply zone there. So maybe a short can be taken scalp short. Okay. So around 2330-ish with stops above 2406, and hopefully a wick into there, bearish retest, come back down. Otherwise, the mid-range level offers a nice level to possibly short. Okay, now stops on this one, you usually place it above the wick, but this is very, very tight. Okay, so unless you want to scalp this one, okay, so here are a few options. That's a scalp short. You can possibly take a swing short. Stops probably somewhere around there. And then you have the range highs short. This one, a little bit riskier, but again, it's ETH. Because of the amount of times we've touched this, it may break through. Okay. Now, this one here might be a possible. Now, we have a long way to go, but let's say we do something like this, right? Where we go and come back down and put in a possible inverse head and shoulders. This may happen, but we're not going to speculate until you have the definite touches. But this possibly could look like a bullish Quasimodo, where lower low into a lower high into a lower low, go up, come back down, put in a higher low, and then you have a bullish Quasimodo pattern, which should send you to the neckline again. All right, so these shorts, in my opinion, do look decent, but if we put in a higher low, then you could take another long. But again, it's ETH, so who knows? With stops below there and target those highs. So here are a few different options for ETH. Now keep in mind that we do have the crypto summit, another fuckfest of extravaganza on the 7th, whenever that is, Friday. So I don't know how that's going to affect the market. Just keep that in mind. But even with the bullish news that we got about the SBR, or the basket of dog shit coins that I referred to, we still rejected from high time frame resistance. So low time frame levels might be obsolete or like not of strong value, but high time frame resistances are still valid, right? So that's why I prefer those 4-hour or daily time frame charts, 3-day time frame charts compared to a 30-minute or an hour or 2-hour. Like those are going to be scalp trades, All right, so keep that in mind. I don't know how this news is going to affect the market. Now, last but not least, okay, Sol. Okay, so this is the trend line that I had originally drawn. Okay, and we even had a bearish retest of it perfectly. But let's talk about this on a lower time frame. Don't see anything here. Let's go back and trickle down. Okay, so this level from 180-ish to about 188-ish is a short for me if we get it. Now, we all know how much I hate this coin, but you have very strong resistance and proven otherwise, and I don't think this coin, does well in the long term. I think there are better choices. I don't see this going back to all-time highs, and if it does, fantastic, but this is a short zone for sure. Now, I really want this one, like this is the one that I originally had, but I don't know if we have the strength to push up into it. Like, I mean, Bitcoin is up, what, 7K, and this is only up like $10. So even if we apply the math, and I know like there are different factors into it, but let's say we go up 14K, okay? That would translate into another $20 for Sol, right? 14K, we are at 102, right? Let's add another 14K, we're at all-time highs. This would be up like at 180, right? But I know there are other factors going into it. But currently, Sol is a short every single time it pumps. All right, so high time frame, I'd be looking at that 180 to 188. I would love for it to go from 188 to 200. That would be the preferred short to take, but on a scalp, maybe a short around this order block. Stops above 167. If I were to take fibs from the swing highs to the lows here, the golden pocket lines up perfectly. Stop loss above this wick. That would be a possible short that I would take. Now, doesn't matter how low or high I draw these, you're going to take profits at levels of support and resistance, right? If I give anything officially, it'll be in my channel, but this would be most likely an area of, I mean, we might have more data at that point, but at this point, right, this is an SR point. If we go there, we bounce from there, maybe a TP, and maybe a final one, something like that. Okay. So here is the scalp. Here are now the swing trade. It's tough because I really want this one, but both are valid. Okay. I know if you enter this one, you get stopped out, then this one happens. So I would probably take this on two different accounts, but both areas are still valid to take. These would be swing trades, and these would be more for experienced traders because the first one, I would have a manual stop loss. So if we can accept this $188 area, then I close it and take this one. But if we, reject and do something like this, then we may not get to this short. So there are two separate plays that I would take on two different accounts. This one is the preferred one, and this one is a soft stop loss confirmation, while this one has a hard stop loss. I think there are better coins to trade in terms of volatility than, or not volatility. So Sol is pretty volatile with ETH, XRP, Bitcoin, but in terms of actual ROI, I think there are better coins to trade than Sol. Right? Can we take a look at Avax? My short stop loss is hard. It's a scalp. I typically don't like to do soft stop losses because like it requires you to sit and actually look at charts and be observant of where price action is. So I prefer hard stop losses, but there are times when there are, like, for example, liquidity um, wicks like that. Then if you enter in longs around this area, you'd have a soft stop loss because maybe this goes and sweeps the price, and then we go higher, right? So those are the only times that I'd rather go with a soft stop loss. Otherwise, I don't think that that method is really um, a good one for majority of the traders because it wrecks a lot of people. What was I gonna do? Avax. So I shared this with a few people that asked for it, but Avax is at a do or die point. Okay, so I'll share the weekly chart here. Previously resistance, we turned into support, bounce from support. Now we are at support currently. This is a disgusting weekly candle. Needs to hold this level here. Otherwise, the next major level comes around this $15.6 region. Right? Now, currently, we're holding it on the daily, but I don't like that bearish engulfing candle. We're not bullish on, or I'm not saying we are not, but I wouldn't be bullish on AVAX until we get above this $27 region. Like, this is just a mini range that we are in. I wouldn't even call this a range because it's not established, but we have true resistance here. We have support. Maybe we go and close the daily with a sweep of these lows here, but even the R and R, like let's say we close and we technically currently have this SFP, this would be the trade setup, right? But AVAX isn't as strong, and this daily yesterday engulfing candle is disgusting. So I just don't think there is strength, but for us to be bullish, we have to get above this $27 level. Anything in between is if you want to, you can start accumulating spot. I wouldn't take leverage. There isn't a strong A setup like position here, but accumulating spot, if you truly believe in this asset from here down to 1560 does make sense. And if we actually do run, then you have a nice 30% move from this here, or even if you average in about a 50% move. So leverage wise, I don't see a strong setup compared to Bitcoin and ETH and Sol, but spot setup, I do see a reason to accumulate from here down to 15.6 if you want to stay in this coin. But this would be your leverage setup if we get it. Okay. Shorting back at 27 makes a lot of sense. Doge. Go ahead and suggest some charts, guys, or coins, and I can take a look. What's up, Caleb? But again, this looks exactly like AVAX, right? Move right into the SR point. This might have put in a higher low, but again, I'm not bullish until we get above this level here. But maybe a double bottom / higher low. If you really want to accumulate, then this would be the setup. But I just don't know what this news is going to entail, but it possibly looks like a double bottom is forming here. I said that last time we were in a possible Bitcoin long, same exact formation, and then we got wrecked. So this would be a potential setup for Doge longs, but the stop loss is wide, so you have to lower your risk. You only lose like 2% max, but I wouldn't. Maybe I go there. I do this. And these are you guys' suggestions, so if I ever give anything, like I mentioned, it's going to be given to my channel, right? So, okay, so TP1, probably like TP2. Actually, TP1 would come around here. TP2 would come around here. This would be a short setup. Scalp short. Yeah, something like that. That's Doge. Are you breaking up with us at the end of the cycle? I will actually, and I've spoken to not only Caleb but other servers as well. I will be indefinitely stepping down from calling in all aspects of servers. I will stop making content on YouTube, and I will actually stop posting Twitter content. I will be stepping away. 9 years is too long. I'm going to spend some time with the wife and the doggos, and going to be focusing on the next level or aspect of my businesses. I've been calling in Discord since 2020, so I'm tired. I don't have another cycle in me for sure. But do you think it's a good idea to accumulate spot here? It depends. I prefer to accumulate on strength and a trend confirmation, because this can easily go back down to the lows at 78K or 83K. But if you think that we are going to go higher from here, then yes, you could start accumulating some spot, small entry, and DCA down as we go lower. I personally am not. That's why I've been selling my spot positions at a loss. I'd rather wait for a trend of or strength before entering in any positions. ENA. Yeah, all these charts look the same. Disgusting daily candle, like Avax, ENA. Same with Sol, but this one at least has some type of range. If we get another deviation of these lows, that would be your trigger to long, just like this one was, right? Now let me see. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I mean we have a bullish div. We swept all these lows too. I would wait until we get above here, just like we did, and then you could enter in longs, and the stop loss would probably be somewhere below here. We just need more price action to develop. But if we don't get that, then this would be your scalp play. These wicks are gnarly though, so just keep that in mind. We can actually go and take this low out. But if we come back down, maybe like a double bottom type form, and then higher. Shorts, probably at the mid-range level. Yeah, it's crazy. Actually lines up perfectly with the mid-range. So somewhere right there. Oops. Back down to the lows. ENA. Hype and Sui. One sec. So I think I shared this last time. These were the buy levels for hype if we had the dip. I think we were over here last Tuesday, whenever I streamed. Entry, DCA, DCA, DCA filled. The final one didn't. I think this played out almost perfect. So let's go ahead and actually start these levels. I can possibly see strength in here. I mean, this one has a clearer range than most. Right, I'm just going to draw it here. We are still in a downtrend. Maybe a position like that. This would be more of a spot play. And you can still make good money, but safest one would be a reclaim here. And play the range until we break it. Stop loss would be, somewhere there once we get it. But a bearish retest here also does make sense of the range low levels, similar to what Bitcoin had here, right? Here's the range, bearish retest. So if we go there, then that is a possible another short to take, but I don't like the R&R for this one. Probably like stop loss. Entry around 1840, stop loss around 19. Something like that. But we gotta battle this range first before we can talk about, higher, right? It's still in a downtrend, making lower lows, lower highs. But it does have a bullish div. Price making lower lows, RSI making lower highs. So hopefully we come back down there and then you can long with stops below the wick. Sui. All right. Sui still in a downtrend. We actually swept these lows. Let's go to a lower time frame. Don't know if we get this, but here's a potential scalp. R&R sucks. I don't think we go and sweep those lows again, but something like that. I actually think this bearish retest, front running the golden pocket, does make sense. So short DCA, the golden pocket, probably around 2.87. Stop loss 2.93 into another higher low and short there. I don't see any other longs at the moment. Maybe a short scalp here. Very, very tight. I don't see any other long. Now the daily is going to close like an SFP, like I mentioned. Even the 4 hour, like we already swept the lows. So if you think buying spot here, then you can target a 10% move back to the bearish retest point if we close the day like this. But I'd rather buy back at the previous swing low level and target the bearish retest point. So I'll go ahead and put those. Altcoin is a shitcoin. This will go to 0. I think it's utility season, guys. Like I think we should move, or everyone should move away from meme coins. Yeah, I mean like this is garbage. Is there even a Yeah, I mean you have a bullish div here. That's the only thing going for these guys. Close the daily above this. Close the daily above here, then you have a potential long setup, but this coin is absolute dog shit. That maybe you'll get lucky with this pump. I'd actually sell right into that OB. And I'd short that OB. And I target negative dollars. Let's say we somehow break above, then this would definitely be a second short attempt. But we have a bullish div. Now this is a daily bullish div, so keep that in mind. I'm going to post both charts. Hbar. This coin's been coming up a while. Whoa. Dang. Bullish Quasimodo. This is a risky short. bearish Quasimodo, sorry. Stop losses, I don't like these wicks. But structure has been broken on the 4 hour here. Maybe something like that. See, this double bottom is what I was talking about with other assets, right? Like, you go up, come back down, make a higher low slash double bottom, and then potentially go higher. So I'm looking like I was looking at this for other assets as well. Above this level, right? If we can reclaim it, then we will go higher. But this exactly looks like this, right? Here's the range, rejection right into the range highs after, or sorry, range lows after it was lost. Range, rejection into the range lows after it was lost, and then further down. So that's why I do think taking that short there does make sense. Tight stop, you can widen it if you want, but I just don't like these wicks and I don't know where to place them. Jupe. This chart actually looks terrible. SFP going to close. Now just keep in mind, here's the last time we SFP'd, went higher, right? Here's the last time we SFP'd, right, went higher. So this might SFP again. We have to stay above the 63.38. You can play the previous swing low point. Definitely short here. Into another lower high. Now, I don't know if we get this, but let's say we pump into it somehow. Stop loss, keep a little bit. I mean, this is going to bring the golden pocket down to here probably. Let me see. Right, so entry very small, DC at the 786 fib. The reason why I don't want to short here is because I don't have much confluence outside of this possible resistance. Maybe on a lower time frame. Yeah, you have supply zone, but it's below it. And it's below the resistance, so like shorting here may be a scalp, but I'd rather short the high time frame resistance. I don't see anything outside of that for Jupe. I think there are better coins outside of the Sol ecosystem. This one's even a risky. Something like that, I guess. I don't know. I don't think this is a strong setup. This is probably like a 3 out of 10, but I share everything. LTC. So I'll go over my thoughts on my own chart. Okay. I thought this looked great a few days ago. I mean, it's still within its range here, but a daily, I would prefer a 3-day closure below here, but a 3-day closure below here, I go ahead and cut. If we get anywhere back to this mid-range level or near entry, I'll go ahead and cut. I was holding this in efforts of a possible ETF coming, but I don't know if, like if this is not chosen over the American Disability Act coin and XRP, like I don't understand any reason for this coin to go higher. But truth be told, in the basket of dog shit coins that came out when Trump spoke on Grindr, I mean Truth Social, like ADA, XRP aren't going to pass. Sol isn't going to pass. A Bitcoin reserve should only be Bitcoin, right? So if this goes back up to here, I'd be looking to actually go ahead and cut for a small loss, but it's still within a range. It bounced from the range lows, like I mentioned. Within a range, you short the range highs, and you long the range lows. You would have gotten a perfect entry, but I just don't see strength for this to continue higher until or unless something happens. But this looks like, I mean, you can also draw, okay, we've lost the trend line. We're about to lose the trend line. We haven't closed above or below 105 yet on the daily, but losing this trend line that we haven't lost since November, right? Like it's like suey, right? Here was the trend line. Just draw it out. We closed below it, bearish retest, and then ever since we went down. Right, so I don't know how this news will affect us on Friday, but if we pump any pump into like the 110 to 120 region, I'd probably cut this for a loss. I just don't see strength in this anymore, but who knows, it might change. But right now, nothing really. I wouldn't touch this coin right now. This is one of the weaker ones after having so much strength. Thank you, Caleb. Does anyone know how to get rid of these blue lines? Which ones? Oh, right click settings and one sec, scales and lines. There's like horizontal and vertical lines. One sec. These ones. So you have vertical lines. Just turn the opacity to 0. Nice. Sorry, I just saw it fixed. Okay. I got 2 more in me. Then I gotta go. Ave. Whoa. Whoa. What happened here? Is this the new ETH? This probably had a bullish div and it played out, huh? Let me see. I guarantee you. Yeah, it fucking did. Price making lower lows, RSI making lower highs, and this played out perfectly. We didn't bounce at any strong point here. still in a downtrend, so don't get horny here. But I think if we get a push into this resistance here, for sure it's a short. Unless ETH runs like a mad. But I mean, even ETH ran, this didn't do much. So, but this is a short. Don't know if we get these, but here is your long. This is still another lower high being placed in. Let's say this was the highs. And let's say this was. Yeah. Yep. I'd be looking at that. No clear place to long outside of there, which had a huge move up. And I mean, there's a possible short attempt or short scalp to take here. Very, very tight. Back down to there. I'm not going to reiterate Sol. You can watch the... Alright, and last one's FET. Similar to the other setups, right? We swept the lows, but now we're closing below it. So no clear longs. Next level of support comes around 52 cents. That's where I'd be looking to get. Whoa. Yeah, rejected right where we had it. So close from the short. So close. And this rejected right perfectly from the order block. Let's break this down to a lower time frame. We got a new order block. That's probably where I'd be looking to short. You can actually, if this is your range, and this is your range low, a deviation of these range lows would be the only time looking too long. But as we saw, this is our wick. We are closing below it currently. Closure above can possibly give you this move, tight stops, more or so a spot play. We can have a rejection at this, but I don't know where we place stops. No confluence. Stops. Let me just share this 1 sec. Scalp play. Stops a little bit. That fucking scares me every time, man. I don't know what that is. And I don't have a Twitch. Stops probably somewhere there. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I gotta run, but I'll share a say setup in chats once I'm done with my business call. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks everyone. Thanks Caleb. Have a good one, guys.